Our first topic tonight is TYT. Jesse Williams speaks hard truths about police brutality. Let's get on with this fucking garbage.
It's hard, man. Listen to this shit.
This garbage.
This award, this is not for me. This is... I got more, y'all.
The BET Awards happened over the weekend, and what's making headlines from the ceremony is definitely Jesse Williams' speech on Black Lives Matter. Now, there were two parts of the speech that really stood out to me, and I want to show you guys, and then we'll have a discussion. Let's take a look at the first video.
The more we learn about who we are and how we got here, the more we will mobilize. Now, this is also in particular for the black women, in particular, who have spent their lifetimes dedicated to nurturing everyone before themselves. We can and will do better for you now.
And then right after that, he talks about how there is, it's interesting how all these cases of police brutality and, you know, people getting shot impacts the black community more than any other community.
So I love the speech, but as you're going to see here, since he said some hard truths, people will be really mad at him. The closer you get to the truth, the more mad people get.
Of course.
So let's watch.
Now, I got more, y'all. Yesterday would have been young Tamir Rice's 14th birthday. So I don't want to hear any more about how far we've come when paid public servants can pull a drive-by on a 12-year-old playing alone in a park in broad daylight, killing him on television and then going home to make a sandwich. Tell Rakia Boyd how it's so much better to live in 2012 than it is to live in 1612 or 1712. Tell that to Eric Garner. Tell that to Sandra Bland. Tell that to Dorian Hunt. Now, the thing is, though, all of us in here getting money, that alone isn't going to stop this. All right? Now, dedicating our lives to getting money just to give it right back for someone's brand on our body, when we spent centuries praying with brands on our bodies, and now we pray to get paid for brands on our bodies.
Wow.
That was really powerful. And
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. I mean, like, drive-bys. This guy's going to mention a so-called drive-by when it comes to police that protects people in their communities, right? When they get out of the car, I'm sure they said something to the fucking kid. 2-3 seconds later, they shoot the kid, they kill him, but the kid was approaching the car, and he was pulling his shirt up, and he was going for the gun in his waistband. The video shows this. And they're going to use this platform as in, hey, listen, it's about white police officers. That's what we need to address. But the funny thing about it is when it comes to real drive-bys, when is Black Lives Matter going to actually address the demographic responsible for almost all drive-bys? Right? What do you guys got to say?
I have nothing to say right now.
On anything he stated now? Grant Paul?
No, I do. I've got some background noise. Sorry. Go ahead.
You know what? I like right at the beginning when Jank says, actually, we didn't even get to that part yet, but he talks about, there's going to be people out there that can't accept the uncomfortable truth. And it's like, yeah, there are people out there that do that. They either skirt the actual problem or make up a false narrative. Kind of like, damn, who's that news organization that does that shit? Oh, yeah, TYT.
Yeah. There's one point that he brought up in the beginning of the speech where he said, the more we learn about who we are and how we got here, the more we will mobilize. Now, that's saying that basically we got here because of the white people, because of slavery. They shipped us from, on boats from Africa over to here, Europe over to here. And it's basically just a dig at whites. This is being racist against white people. And if people can't realize that, I don't know what to tell you. Pretty sad.
So besides that, what I noticed too is he's talking about a few different other things. Well, he mentions, first off, let's see, Darian Hunt, if I remember correctly, he was armed with a katana. So they shot, he had a katana. He went after police. What are you going to do? Tamir Rice had a fake gun that was made to look like a real gun that he was playing around in the park and waving at people. These are the people you're trying to hold up as great injustices. how about you hold up as a great injustice Walter Scott? Use his name in this type of speech if you were trying to really make an impact and not trying to do this, repeat this bullshit from Black Lives Matters.
It's victimhood, man. You know, these are the
but also him talking about brands on our bodies. Well, okay. When I was in before even I went to high school, I realized that it's bullshit to have to pay money for just a brand when the clothing that cost a quarter of the price was good enough. So, it's like this the whole idea that we have to struggle to get money to put a brand on our body. That's your own goddamn fault. That's your own fucking fault being stupid. I don't go out to work so I can get Polo Ralph Lauren and make sure that I have Versace and make sure I have Gucci and all this shit. I don't do that fucking shit. I live within my means. I wear stuff that's cheap, that's comfortable. There's no need to have to be playing the game or all this money just to get brands. It's not like we're forcing you to do that. It's your own fucking choice in that matter.
Yeah, it's funny how he actually equates branding, you know, when they were slaves, branding the slaves, comparing it to clothes and shit like that. It's like it's senseless. It's pointless. It makes no sense.
Taking it back to when he mentioned those two names, you can tell he's already starting on a thing where he's trying to push a narrative of like white cops are only out to get, you know, black citizens. I mean, he takes shitty situation, like Tamir Rice. That was a shitty situation.
Yeah.
Or he takes like other accidental parts that always pop up on the news, and he takes that and runs with that narrative.
Yeah. Another point I want to bring up is like when he was talking about black women, when he said they spend their lifetimes dedicating to nurturing everyone before themselves. We can and will be better for you. Well, I hope black men start to nurturing their own children and staying in healthy relationships, because we know motherhood, when it comes to that demographic, single motherhood, that's the black demographic by large. It's disproportionate from every other race when it comes to single motherhood. And that's where the family starts, people, is with a loving and caring family when you have two parents. You know, that's where it starts, a male role model. You know, and he's going to sit here and talk about, you know, black women and nurturing everyone before themselves. It's like absolute bullshit.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a certain there's a certain percentage of them that do that. I'm sure there's hardworking there's hardworking mothers, just like every other demographic too.
Absolutely.
But the reality is there's also a lot of deadbeat fucking people in the demographic, unfortunately, and a lot of mothers who put the priority of themselves over the priority of their children.
Yeah.
So if he wants to talk about, if he's talking specifically to the ones who actually put their children over themselves, good on them. Yeah, do more to support those people. The ones who put themselves over their children, and I've seen plenty of fucking stories about this, those people, no, not so much.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're trying to just prop up the good, why don't you also mention how the bad, because you got to work on the bad instead of just saying, look how good we are, and trying to whitewash everything else away. Try to paint, wash it away down the driveway like it doesn't exist.
Yeah, they have to start worrying about inner city crime and shit like that, and who's committing these crimes by large in these communities. But it's pretty pathetic though. And when it comes to this video, people, we're not saying that all black people are this way. We're just bringing up some statistics to say like these are the facts that when it comes to single motherhood, the black demographic by large is ahead of the pack by far. And you got to remember it's 13%.
75%.
75%. Thank you.
75% of black families don't have a dad.
I was going to say 13% of the black population.
Imagine that. Imagine that in a white community.
Yeah.
Like, where are all the dads going? Where are they going? What are they doing? I know they don't want to take care of the kid.
Well, they have multiple kids with multiple partners.
Yeah, I understand all that.
Yeah.
Fuck me. I mean, I knew one, right? And as much as I knew a black guy in Dallas when I worked there, and he got his girlfriend pregnant, a white girl. And as much as he loved the kid, he still wanted to enjoy time with his friends and stuff. And he wasn't a young kid. He was like 33, 34. He still wanted to hang out with his friends. He didn't want to take the time and responsibility to look after the kid. But I'm not saying that that's black people in general, but that's been my experience since I've lived here. Generally speaking, they don't really give a shit about the kids.
No. All right, let's move on with this video.
I mean, he put that so perfectly, and I've never thought about it from that perspective.
So I think the celebrities have a choice, and a lot of people pay attention to him. If that was a regular guy giving a speech, same speech, activist, wouldn't have gotten anywhere near the attention. I love it when they make the choice to try to make a difference. It's interesting because the other time that I heard about Tamir Rice's birthday being over the weekend, and how he would have been 14, was on a panel that Rosario Dawson did at Politicon. And so every
Name
time
drop.
I heard those are two times I heard it, it gave me a chill.
You mean he
down my
repeated a
spine.
talking
Yeah,
point?
name drop.
It's the earnest tone of his voice that just drives me mental.
But it's so funny how he says, you know, I'm all for people trying to make a difference. You know, make a difference about what when it comes to this, Jank? About what? They're not
Yeah, but
addressing
if
the
you-
real fucking problems. That's the issue.
But if you listen to his tone of voice, the way he delivers that particular line tells you everything you need to know about this cunt.
Yeah, exactly.
That is his agenda. That is clearly his agenda, and every week goes by, it's clearer and clearer. And yet, the regressive left don't want to see that. They still agree with everything he's saying.
It's amazing.
He's like he is some kind of figurehead with them.
Oh yeah, of course, and we're seeing
And it's bizarre to me.
we're seeing the breakdown of the left right now. You know, in the last year, it's just with the SJW PC shit, and you know what happened in Sacramento, which we're going to be covering. You know, they're becoming more extreme in their views and more violent. So let's continue here.
Because 2 years later, he would have been 14. And what Jesse Williams says there is nearly indisputable. They drove right up to the kid and shot him within 2 seconds. That's a drive-by. Drive-bys, you don't ask questions. You don't inquire into what's going on. You just spray bullets. So within 2 seconds, they sprayed bullets at the kid. They never asked.
Good, Paul. I knew you would say something.
Yeah,
like I
that's
stated,
not really
they're not
a
addressing. They're not,
drive-by.
yeah, it's not a drive-by.
A drive-by is if you are in the car, shoot a place, never leave the fucking car, and drive the fuck away.
Drive away, yeah. Yeah.
He's failing to mention
but
like
is he-
certain key points of that situation.
When's he going to actually address when, like I stated, when Black Lives Matter are going to address the real drive-bys that damage their communities? I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
They're gonna take one
police
fucking
brutality is a
story
problem,
and
but it's
run
not.
with it.
Jesus Christ, trying to paint it off like it's a bigger problem than the actual people that are causing the more killings, more violence on a daily basis. You think, Jesus
There,
Christ?
So even-
there is police brutality, but it's not just centered towards black people. It goes all around.
Yeah, but when it comes to police brutality, it's not the brutality they speak of. That's
No,
not.
they're talking about kids
You're-
being
you're
shot,
right.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Or people being shot incorrectly by the police force. And that happens very, very little.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at any study you want, it doesn't happen very often. It will happen because, you know, like I've said before, it's human beings and they'll make mistakes, but it doesn't happen very often because police training is generally really good.
Yeah, and when it comes to police killing individuals, they kill more whites than blacks.
Yeah, no shit.
I'm sorry that's a truth, but it is.
Yeah.
It's a fucking fact. Let's move on.
To put down what turned out to be a toy gun. They never even quite, obviously they didn't clearly see it. There was nothing, they never gave that kid a chance.
Well, hold
Eric
up, hold
Garner
up.
didn't have a chance. And all those people that he talks
He didn't have a
about.
chance what to
And
shoot the
so-
cops back.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
'cause
wait
they
a
had toy gun.
second. They didn't. He said they didn't clearly see the gun, whether fake or real.
How does he know
So they
this?
just had it in their minds. Fuck it, we're just gonna shoot this kid. After they got a call
He's black,
through
right?
their radio, they got a call of somebody brandishing a weapon at a park.
Yeah, which is what happened.
Yeah.
That's the actual
And
fact.
so they're just like, no, fuck it, we're not gonna check anything. We're just gonna roll up and shoot them and then drive off.
Yep. That's what cops do,
damn.
right?
Yeah,
It's fucking amazing.
according to these fuckers, yeah.
That makes people
Yeah,
uncomfortable, but he's winning a humanitarian award. If you don't do it then, when do you do it? He's winning an award for speaking out for things like this. And there's plenty of people who speak out for the cops and for the establishment and for authority. You got a whole channel devoted to that, Fox News channel. In fact, you got a lot of channels devoted to that. So even when the CNNs of the world do it, they assume that what the cops are saying is true, and it has to be disproven.
Man, talking about a guy against fucking police officers, dude, and the fucking tough job they fucking have, right? That CNN, when they're trying to promote truths to a certain point, he's going to deny those fucking truths, you know, and he's going to pick apart a video to support his fucking narrative. It's just so it's fucking insane. It's ridiculous, man. It really is.
That's more grandstanding by him. I mean, he's trying to say what CNN and Fox aren't reliable. Thanks, Jank. We already knew that. But guess what? You ain't reliable either, you fat bastard.
Oh my god, it's fucking funny.
You know, they've got all the weight of that they put on the scale on the side of authority figures. Well, if the cops say it, it's likely to be true. If the authority figures say it, it's likely to be true. But if you could somehow magically disprove it, and now, thank God, there is a little bit of magic called video that we now have on our smartphones, so you can see Eric Garner being choked to death. If you hadn't seen it, if there wasn't that camera in that park
Never happened.
in Cleveland, you know what they originally called in Cleveland, the cops? Saying that he was around 20 years old, over 20 years old.
Yeah.
He was 12.
It's a relevant point.
He got that. No,
Shit.
either way, he got that wrong.
Yeah.
He was 20. No, he looked the size of a 20-year-old.
Yeah, but when it comes to Eric Gardner, I'm like, you're talking to a guy that was a career criminal. I mean, like, this guy was resisting arrest. Yeah, it's sad that he died. He had medical conditions. What the cop did,
wrong
choked
person.
him. What?
We're talking about Tamir Rice. Why?
No,
what's
I
up
was
with
I was
Gardner?
on Tamir Rice.
No, I was going to Eric Gardner.
Oh, sorry.
Because he mentioned Eric Gardner.
No, he just mentioned Tamir Rice and how he just what?
Well, the cop said
No,
that
the cop
he's
said
saying
Eric
that the
Gardner.
cop said, "Oh, he was 20." No, he got that
Yeah.
wrong. The kid was big enough to look
Oh,
like he would be a 20-year-old.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
And
think
then
it-
he
was
went
it
to the
20 or
Eric
was it-
Garner one where, yeah.
Yeah, and he mentioned Eric Gardner before that rant. So, but yeah, there's gonna be a lag. But sorry guys. All right, let's move on here.
Oh. But they're used to lying. They're used to making it up. Like a former Baltimore cop said on the Young Turks. He said, do you think that African Americans have been lying for over 100 years about what they've been going through with the cops? That they were all lying? They all made it up? No, they all say it in all the different parts of the country because it's true.
Yeah.
That is what we do. But the rest of the media says, no, believe the cops first, believe the government first, believe the oppressors first. And then if you point out that oppression, how dare you? How dare you?
Fucking
Buzzword.
unbelievable fucking claim. I'm like, this just shows you the fucking hatred he has with the police force, man, with the police out there. It's just fucking ridiculous, man. Anthony, you okay, man? You gonna sit there and tweet it all day? Or you gonna chime in here a little bit? Yeah.
I'm advertising the show right now.
Oh, well, thank you.
I just tweet it out, you motherfucker.
But we are live here
Jesus,
on
you
the
know?
show, so
Yeah.
Oh, so I shouldn't swear? Or...
no, it's okay.
Is that okay?
Anybody on this point or no?
Yeah, I just love that he takes the word of one officer and says that that proves that every single one in all the country, all the departments throughout all the country, all do this shit.
For over 100 years.
Okay. All right, yeah, that's okay. So one person proves the entire thing is corrupt. Got it.
You know what the real shame is, though? You must have police officers watching this stuff, right? Watching the Young Turks and maybe being fans of the Young Turks. And they might be a white police officer or a black police officer or a Asian police officer or whatever. They must watch this stuff and go, that ain't right. That ain't right. That can't be right.
Yeah.
I've worked in the police force for the last 5 years or the last 2 years or whatever. I ain't seen shit of that. No, I mean, nobody's perfect. We get that. But the way that the Young Turks describe this problem is it's systemic and what was the other S word that I used last night? Systemic and systematic.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, I mean,
And it isn't, and we all know it's not. We all know it's not.
Of course it's not, no.
going along with that, I did read some comments on this particular video that some cops are, after watching things like this and hearing stuff like this in the news, they are a little reserved going into certain neighborhoods now because they don't want something to go down.
Yeah,
and then next thing you know, they get nailed in the press for something.
Yep.
Well, no,
I've heard
absolutely.
that firsthand as well. That's true.
Yeah, I definitely can see that, no doubt. And for Cenk to say that, over 100 years, we're saying that all blacks were wrong and everything they had to state when it comes to police brutality. Well, yeah, probably they probably were lying, Cenk. Let the truth prevail. I'm like, we got video now. Like, let's go. What, Paul? You're gonna say something?
Yeah, no, he's making the claim that we thought we just dismissed all the claims outright.
Correct,
No,
yeah.
That's not true. There's quite a few, and obviously there's going to be misuses of power. They're not all dismissed, but a lot of the times, unfortunately, there are people who have, as some people have put it, the victim mentality. So anytime anything happens, it's because we're being oppressed, because they're oppressing me, and they didn't do anything wrong. Even though you can look at video evidence, like he loves talking about now, you can look at video evidence and see this motherfucker just stole something right in front of the guy. I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And the funny thing, he's going to actually not mention, like, eyewitness testimony. You know what I mean? People that don't have cameras when an incident happens, when a crime happens. Oh, eyewitness testimony. Why not bring that up, Cenk? That's pretty important too, because that's what we do in courts. Eyewitnesses.
Well, actually,
people that
Oh,
actually.
hey.
eyewitness testimony is actually unreliable, which is funny because he's using eyewitness testimony, or I guess he's using firsthand testimony, but he's using eyewitness testimony at other events that he can't corroborate. But he
Still
uses that
eyewitness
okay. But he,
Yeah.
Hey, going back to what I just said, Stephen Falco in the chat actually reminded me something about the cops that are not wanting to go into certain neighborhoods because of the, media backlash. It actually has led to more crime in those particular neighborhoods. Say, Southside Chicago, for example.
Well, yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it's just fucking sad, dude. It really is. So.
And I guarantee you people like Fox News will turn this around and try to blame Jesse Williams and call him all sorts of names.
Yeah. And
Don't be bullied by that. I love what Williams did here. Don't let him bully you.
Yeah, I mean, I love what he did as well. And, with a speech like that and with everything that, minorities are going through in the country right now, I keep wondering, how is this all going to play out in the future, right? Because I think more than ever, especially when it comes to race relations, there's a lot of vitriol, there's a lot of division. You have someone like Donald Trump emboldening those who are the most hateful, the most discriminatory. And so
Listen, Anna, you
Bitch, you're
are
the one
dividing.
dividing.
You're the one fucking dividing.
Yeah.
You're the one that is creating this fucking narrative, right? That is dividing the communities. You have this hatred for the police officers. That's exactly what you're doing, and you're making the situation worse than what it is. That's the problem. Is that they're making it worse.
What would she say though if you asked that question to her? If you said, Anna, why are you trying to push this narrative? Why are you saying that there is a systemic problem with the police? Now, she really believes that there is, I guess. Let's just take it as a face value. So how would she respond if you actually then delivered those facts to her? And said, look, Anna, there was way more white people shot this year than black people. Or, by accident. It wasn't, it was a mistake. They had a fake gun or whatever. I mean, how do you really think she'd react to that? Do you really think she'd take those facts in?
Well, no, she wouldn't. She wouldn't really talk to a person that she would disagree with. I don't think she would. I don't think she would hold that conversation. I don't think they would. Because they don't want to hear the dissent opinion. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to care. They don't care about the facts. They're going to stick to and skew polls and skew statistics in their favor. And anybody could do that. That's the sad part.
How long can this go on? I mean, we all know that this isn't true.
Well, of course.
Like Cenk literally came out with complete lies today. Or yesterday, or on Devon's video.
Well, we see the shit that's going on.
Literally just lying, bold-faced lying.
Yeah, it is pretty sad though, man. But hey, man, we gotta stay strong. We gotta keep on promoting the facts, the true statistics, and all that shit. We just gotta keep on doing what we're doing and push forward and gain more support. And other shows out there gain more support. People that are on our side, because you gotta remember when it comes to this battle, when it comes to the SJWs, the shit that's happening in the university, the PC culture, Black Lives Matter movement, the BAN movement, all the left wing fucking extremists out there. They're sort of the majority. We're the minority speaking up and calling these fucking people out. We are the minority. Go ahead, Paul.
Well, I was going to say what she'd probably do to talk about more white people being killed by accident. Well, of course that's going to happen because the whites are still the majority in the country. That's a given. And then that'll just wash away that the fact that more white people die. It doesn't matter just because they're a majority. So that's how you handle that. You wash away the fact that more people have died just because, it's expected. For the other part, she'll just talk about how, again, the testimony or the interviewing of that one Baltimore cop probably would seal the coffin in the nail of everyone being racist. But then she'd talk about other stories from bullshit places like BuzzFeed or other crack places like Salon, Raw Story.
Raw Story, yeah.
Has been really great lately. So she'll just go back to other. She'll go to anecdotal things. She won't talk about other. She won't talk about things like, they tend to have weapons. These people, or if they're by accident, is how many people by accident is there each year? How many people of them are unarmed? How many people of them are armed? How many people of them are not armed but are on drugs? How many people of them are not armed but are still resisting to the point where they're going to assault the cop and try to get his gun? Things like that. They won't talk about that. They'll just see that they'll just point to a system that's all racist because disproportionate because reasons.
Yeah, no offense.
It all on that. It all honestly gets down to reasons, which usually are because because of oppression, because of systemic racism. But they can't really nail down what they mean by that. It's more of a vague, nebulous term, but they never actually get down to what it means.
Correct.
In my opinion.
No, I see your point, man. No doubt. All right, let's move on here a little bit. We'll cover just another few minutes of this, and then we'll move on.
Someone makes an inspiring speech like that, and people go off in their corners, you know, and they spout out their talking points. The right-wing media says what the right-wing media is expected to say. Liberals will applaud him, much like we're doing right now. How do we actually get together and fight for real change, right? And that's the question that I have, because I loved his speech. And I love...
One thing we can do, Anna, is start being honest. That's what we need to start
Objectively
doing.
look
Being
at the facts.
Yeah, look at the facts and the data objectively.
That's all it is.
Address it. Be honest. Because what they're doing right now is this anti-white racism. It's exactly what they're doing. It's like hate white people, hate white cops. And when you encounter a white cop, you black people, you better watch out because you might get shot, you might get killed. They don't talk about these people resisting arrest. They don't say, hey, guys, listen, I know there's been problems out there with the black community, you know, resisting arrest. Okay, when a cop talks to you, don't resist arrest. Listen to what they have to say. If Eric Gardner did that, of course, you know, he'd been out the next day or that day. You know, they would just arrest him, put him, give him a citation, a court date. He'd been free. He'd be still alive today. Again, the cop was, of course, wrong in that. But, Paul, you okay? You got this
I was just going to object to how she's trying to frame this. I really dislike how she's trying to speak for all liberals. Like somehow what they're spouting is the talking point or is the voice of liberals. Good. I'm sorry, but you don't speak for all liberals, especially not large majority of liberals, Anna.
Good point.
Also, while she's trying to talk about how great it is and how it's supposed to help the country unify, she's trying to further divide the country by doing, again, more tribalist shit of this is how the good liberals, us good people, will respond, while the evil right-wingers will respond this way. I know plenty of right-wingers who won't respond that way. So... Yeah. And I know plenty of liberals who don't respond the same way as her. I really don't like how she is trying to speak for everyone and trying to, again, further divide, even though she's supposedly supposed to be there for people and unify and all that good stuff.
It's good. Good point, Paul. Definitely good point. All right, let's play a little bit more of this video.
Love that he's not just holding those in power accountable for their actions, he's holding those who are part of the community accountable for their actions as well. Not, you know, in a bad way, but saying, hey, you know what? Instead of focusing on the glitz and the glam and the name brands, let's focus on helping our communities, which I think is a powerful message to put out there.
Look,
absolutely. But are you going to go into any kind of detail?
But even then, name brands aren't a fucking thing to be talking about anyway.
Yeah, I know. It's
you
just,
know,
it's a shitty talking point, but yeah, you want to help your communities. Of course, let's address the crime in these communities. Honestly, let Black Lives Matter talk about the black on black crime, black on white crime. Talk about crime in general in these areas. Do that. Why not? Right? Don't sit there and be subjective and pick apart a fucking story and say, oh my God, what did this cop do? Did he do something wrong? Oh my God, can this be a story? Will this be a story? Oh my God, why are they not talking about Baltimore, the driver of the van, the black guy, by the way? Where's the protest? Where are the angry fucking black people when it came to that court case a few weeks ago? No outrage. Didn't see any. Didn't see the major media's covering it. It's fucking sickening, dude. It's fucking sad, dude. It really is. They cherry pick shit, man. It's amazing.
Look,
you mean the media is trying to generate a story and trying to get as much publicity as possible for stories and the ratings?
Yeah.
I would never have guessed that one.
Obvious, but for a lot of people, it isn't obvious. They never thought about it that way because they're in their own bubble. And they go, well, I mean, if a cop just came up and shot my 12-year-old kid because he was playing with a toy gun, I would be devastated. I would be outraged. I would seek to find justice.
The cops didn't know that, Jank.
Why do you assume that that's not the case when it comes to a black family? Just try to see it the other way for a second.
Okay.
A black family.
Pause.
A black
Jesus
family.
Christ. Holy fuck. All right. I played with toy guns when I was a kid.
So did I.
I never, and I was very conscious because I tried to fuck with a tip. But, and I actually do, I remember I had a black revolver, like a black revolver cap gun. I fucked with the tip so there was no orange tip on it, so it looked like a real gun, just like that kid probably did with his. What I didn't do is go to a fucking park and start dicking around with it. I stayed in my backyard.
Yeah, it was just Tamir Rice trying to act like a gangster, pointing a fucking gun in people's faces as they fucking walked by, and then walks towards a cop. The cop car.
I don't want to speculate too much about that. But I'm saying you don't go to a fucking park.
You don't go to a park.
If you're gonna be stupid about it and you're trying to make it look like a real gun, so like for me, it's just because I wanted to make it look real, or I was just fucking around. I wouldn't go out where I know someone would mistake it for the real thing and I could get hurt because I don't know. I guess I was smart enough or something to realize that I could fucking die because someone could mistake it for the real thing.
Or maybe you had parents that cared about you and understood that, hey, that looks like a real gun. You shouldn't go outside the fucking boundaries of our fucking house. To say, hey, listen, don't do that.
Stay in the fucking yard.
Stay in the fucking yard and don't do that. Have your friends come over. And then
you guys
play
notice
guns in the
how
backyard.
Cenk uses this whole thing of like nobody or anybody that disagrees with him just doesn't give a shit about the kid.
Yeah.
You know how he's pushing that. Like we just don't care. Fuck the kid.
Well, I do care, and I wish that someone would have cared more for him to not allow him to run around like that.
But the way he's spouting that off, it's like nobody gives a shit but him.
It's a like I said, it's more divisive shit. It's the way of painting anyone who doesn't agree with you as a bad guy because you're virtuous. God damn, he should have a shield with him at all times.
It's amazing, dude. Anthony, you got anything to say? You've been quiet, buddy. I know you're on Twitter. You're having fun on Twitter, but we are doing a show here.
Okay. You know what? This is the thing with me right now. Devin did the video on this particular thing today. So what can I possibly say that's going to sound any better than what he's already said?
Well,
it's fucking disgraceful.
I know. Well,
absolutely disgraceful.
We're the Skeptic Fence show here, Anthony. Okay, so. Chime in.
I haven't watched the video yet, actually, so I'm just going on what Cenk is doing here.
Well, I have seen the entire speech, and I've seen most of what Young Turks have had to say about it, and it's I don't know what do we say about it that we haven't already said. It's race baiting, it's anti-white, it checks all those regressive boxes. It's fucking disgusting.
That's why it's hard, laughably powerful.
Yeah, laughably disgusting. And it really is, and people need to be calling this shit out. And how do we do that on YouTube? I guess we just downvote the video and leave a mean comment.
In any cases, when the situation is reversed, say, okay, look, not every white person or the entire system is racist, and and a lot of them don't even do it with bad intent. They live in their own bubble. And can we burst each other's bubbles and actually talk to one another?
Yes.
So a speech like that at least facilitates that and starts that conversation. Another reason why I like it.
There is no conversation to
He's got it backwards, man.
He really does, man.
Yeah. There is no conversation to have with that. I mean, they've clearly stated that they are racist. They've clearly said that there is an inherent problem with racism within the police force in America. I mean, where do we go from that point? Everything they've said is catastrophically wrong. I mean, what piece are you going to pick up? Other than just saying they're absolutely a fucking joke at this point. And anybody who supports the Young Turks, who follows me or likes the Skeptic Fence, should just fuck off and get back to your little safe space, because I've got no time for it, man. The fucking idiots.
Exactly.
It annoys me. It annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah, me too, man.
But that's why I like watching Devin, because then he'll take the piss out of him. So I get a laugh out of it.
Oh, yeah,
there's no way I could really sit down and watch a whole Young Turks video. Who's going to do that?
It's hard.
It's just, I don't know, man. I don't mean to be quiet. I was soaking it all up, and
No, it's okay.
I don't know. It annoys me. It's like, what the fuck do you say to this shit? It's head-bangingly stupid. What it is.
It is, dude. Go ahead, Paul.
As someone pointed out in the chat, what about his bubble? Because Cenk lives in this little liberal bubble, ultra liberal bubble in L.A. Where
he is a bubble.
It is near L.A. Well, yeah, that too. He isn't one unto himself.
That's great.
But yeah, I mean, he lives in a little bubble too. So what about what he's talking about? He's so insular as well. He doesn't see an outside view. Whenever he sees an outside view, he mocks it in that stupid, exaggerated bullshit he does.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. We just got to stick up for the truth, man, when it comes to this bullshit, man. Just keep on doing what we're doing and just, it's just basically anti-white fucking
honest,
racism,
man.
dude.
That's
and to
all
be honest,
this is.
it's about, listen, man, if there's any kind of injustice out there, yeah, we'll support you. We'll call it out also, but to take most of these cases out of context and just say, hey, listen, these career criminals, they resisted arrest, Yeah, bad shit happened. Some is justified, some is not. Okay, that's fine. But hey, listen, to make the narrative or have the narrative that, listen, it's white police officers on black individuals. When we look at these inner cities, I'm like, the crime is fucking beyond belief in many of these inner cities, and we have to address that honestly. And we need people like Black Lives Matter to address those points and what's going on in the inner cities. Not just picking on the officers and calling police brutality, police brutality, the ones that are there to serve and protect you. It's fucking absolute bullshit, man.